It is Monday, December 14th of 2020. So that's 17 more days. 17 more days to get out of this year. And it is a cold, wet, nasty, raw kind of day. But I won't let that stop me, no indeed, from doing a Guy's Daily Drive. Bam! And good morning, daily drivers. This is really a nasty, nasty day. 42 degrees? 42 degrees. And it's coming down rain. It's not super hard, but the drops, I'm sure you can hear it in the recording. The drops are like super big and just like smack in the windshield. I can hear the wind blowing as I drive down the road. It's just not a day that's conducive for happy, fun time kind of driving. Another idiot with his lights off in this crap. Oh, so many stupid people, so little time. Anyway, this weekend actually was kind of fun. Saturday, of course, I did the MyMac Podcast with Gaz, and that is always fun. I always enjoy that. And then Saturday, after Gaz and I got done recording, my wife and I went out and we got a Christmas tree, which we hadn't done in a couple of years, and the main reason why, I think, well, a couple things. Number one, all the decorations were like buried in this storage space that we have under the steps, and just a real pain in the ass to get to. And because of how big I am, it was usually Tracy that had to go and get them. So if she really wanted to. Plus, also, when we had the new gutters put up, she didn't want me to put lights off the roof anymore. What is this guy doing? Come on, make up your mind here. I'm going to get around this guy as soon as I can. Oh, and he's driving. Oh, man. Good, he's making a left. Sorry about the interruption. Hold on. There we go. One less stupid person to deal with on the road. So we haven't had lights in a while. In the last couple of years, we didn't really do a tree. Not a full-on tree. So when we decided that we were going to do a tree this year, and part of the reason why was that Peter, my son Peter, had said he was going to come up and help decorate the tree if we got one. So I was like, yeah, cool. I'm totally into it. But of course, this is 2020, so nothing is that simple. So we went over to the school where we've gotten our trees in the past, but because of the pandemic, I guess they weren't doing trees this year. So we went to our backup location, which was over by the grocery store, and there was a big sign saying that because of the pandemic, and it was like one of those service organizations, the Lions, the Eagles, the Bears, take your pick, I don't remember which one it was off the top of my head. But they also said that they weren't doing trees because of the pandemic. However, if we wanted to donate anyway, without getting a tree, they had all the helpful information that we needed to do so. Oh my. So from there, we went over to a place that I had seen online, because I did do some checking before we left. And we went over to a place that said it was going to have trees, and it was one of those lawn and garden places. Mostly, you buy plants, you buy trees, that kind of thing. Well, the whole place was gone, literally, because it was like an open field, and there was nothing there. Where it used to be this like little fence and nothing that would keep you out, and a bunch of plants. There was nothing, just a big open field. So no tree there. So as kind of a last resort, Tracy suggested that we go to, what is it, a Lowe's? It's a Lowe's, not a Home Depot, it's a Lowe's. That we go in and we see if Lowe's was selling Christmas trees. And sure enough, they had some Christmas trees and wreaths. Now the trees, they said they were 6-footers. They were closer to 5 feet, and they were 6. And they weren't that big around. They were a little skimpy. But it was also the only place that we could go that I saw that was going to have trees. So that's what we did. We went and we got one of those trees, and it wasn't real expensive. It was $35, $40, something like that. And we got a wreath. So we were covered. And usually when you go to the schools or the churches or something like that, they've got a guy there that like cuts off the very end so that you can put some water on it to keep the tree alive for a while. And they tie it to your car. Well, Home Depot, hold on, wasn't going to have any of that. They didn't have anybody to tie it. So they had this thing where it was kind of like this blue netting that would, you put the tree through and you could just kind of tie it up. And the tree was small enough that once I put the back seats down, I could fit it in the Kia. So that's what we did. Got it home, got the tree stand out, cut off a small piece on the end ourselves, and set the tree up with our stand. And then Peter came over, and we got out some lights and checked to make sure they worked. And as usual, there's almost always one strand, especially with these LED ones that they sell now, there's always one strand that doesn't work. And frankly, they're so cheap that if they don't work, you throw them away. It's so wasteful. But, it's either that or you spend an hour trying to replace bulbs to see if that's the problem. And usually it isn't. They all have this little box about that big that the power goes through. And if that box is the part that's bad, well, again, you just throw them away. So you can spend an hour troubleshooting to determine that it's the box and then throw it away anyway. And that's what we ended up doing. But we put like 3 strands of lights on this little tree. So you turn it on, and in relation to tree to lights, it's pretty lit. And then Peter and I spent, hour and a half kind of putting decorations on it. And it's a cute little tree. It looks festive. It's not quite like a Charlie Brown kind of Christmas tree. And if you've ever seen the Charlie Brown special, and at this point, who hasn't? Every time Charlie Brown puts the tree down, you see a few more of the little things fall off of it. It was a really pathetic tree. But our tree isn't pathetic. It looks cute. It looks festive. And Peter came over, and we had some dinner, and a good time was had. And the Dolphins almost beat the Chiefs. I was surprised at how well the Dolphins did against the Kansas City Chiefs. So that made me happy. Washington won. The Washington. Oh, before we end this, now I understand that the reasons behind why the Washington football team is no longer called the Redskins, because to a lot of people that's offensive. Okay, fine. But when they're calling the games, do they have to continuously say Washington football team? Can't they just say Washington? You've got, if they're playing the Cowboys, they don't sit there and say the Dallas Cowboys all the time. They just say the Cowboys or the Chiefs or the Dolphins or the Ravens or the Lions, or pick whatever team it is that you want to pick. Okay, fine. This year, Washington's football team doesn't have an actual name to go with it. It's just the Washington football team. So instead of saying Washington football team over and over and over again, I don't even think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 syllables. Just say Washington. People will understand that you mean that team, especially when you're calling the game. Just call it Washington, for God's sake. So that is going to do it. My little football rant for today, and some Christmas cheer. So I hope everyone is, all things considered, having a nice holiday season so far. I hope you're happy, and I hope that you're well, as best as you can be in these times. Tell me about what you're doing for Christmas this year as compared to what you've done in the past. I'm curious to know. Have you changed anything about the way you celebrate Christmas this year? And if you want to contribute, you can send that to Guy at MyMac.com. That is the email address. You can reach me on the Twitters. I'm either, my nose is getting all swept up. I'm either Mac Parrot or Vert Shark over on Twitter. VertShark.com is the website. MyMac.com is another website. Vert Shark is the playlist over on the YouTubes. Like, share, subscribe. That's all you gotta do. Like, share, subscribe. So easy. Stop. There you go. I did this weekend the MyMac.com podcast. Blast, as always. Wednesday nights is the Mac to the Future live cast with David Ginsburg and Warren Sklar. And of course, Guy's Daily Drive that I'm doing right now. As well as, occasionally, I don't know if I'll do it this week or not, it's always so much fun, Chuck Joyner's Mac Voices Open Mic Night on Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But that's like all the different ways you can reach out. If you'd like to help support the things that I do, you can go to patreon.com/MacParrot to make a donation. Coffee, KOFI.com, KO-FI.com/MacParrot. Or to PayPal, you can go to paypal.me/MacParrot. Yeah, it's spelled the same way, but it's more French. So, all that being said, thank you. Thank you so very much for taking the time to watch and or listen to Guy's Daily Drive. And hold on, we'll see you next time right here on Guy's Daily Drive. Bye-bye.